growing up, my mindset was completely off, which stopped me from doing a lot of things. Your mindset is a set of beliefs, and this will impact your decisions, your actions, and ultimately the results you get. That's why I want to share the mindset I had in my 20s and how it held me back so you can have the right set of beliefs going forward. When you're in your 20s, it's easy to think you're falling behind but also running out of time. I definitely thought this when I set up my first business 14 years ago, back in 2011. I thought if I don't make it in the next 12 months, I'll be seen as a failure. But that mindset of believing I didn't have enough time made me make so many bad decisions in my 20s. When I set up my first business, instead of doing things properly, I rushed to the bank to get a £15,000 loan. And as soon as that money landed, I ended up wasting it on things I didn't even need. Within 12 months, I burned through that £15,000 because of a long line of bad decisions, but also thinking I didn't have enough time. Therefore, if you're in your 20s or even coming to the end of your 20s, I want you to know you still have plenty of time before you're about to take unnecessary risks, do some stupid things because you think you need to make it. I want you to just stop, chill out for a second, and realize you still have time. The next thing I want you to do is stop thinking you have to make it in the next 1, 2, or even 3 months. When you do this, you're putting unnecessary pressure on yourself. You end up making the wrong decisions. You end up wasting time on things you don't really need to because you're trying to achieve certain things in an impossible time frame. I'm not saying you can't change your life. You can change your life in 48 hours. But if you're trying to become a millionaire, lose weight, get the best physique possible, this just takes a little bit longer. And in your 20s, you have plenty of time to achieve all those things. When you remove that unnecessary pressure, you'll be able to make better and smarter decisions. Furthermore, those problems you get in the beginning of starting anything new become a lot easier to deal with knowing that you've got the time to achieve the things that you want. Just say to yourself, I have 12 months to achieve my goals. How good does that feel knowing you've got so much time to achieve the thing that you want? Even better, say you have 3 years to achieve your goals. Just think you've got 36 months to achieve everything that you want. You've got so much time that you can take every step you need to achieve the thing that you want. It's okay to have a little bit of pressure and feel like I need to achieve this by week 1. That's good. But trying to achieve something in 1 month can be difficult. But giving yourself enough time to achieve the things that you want will make it easier to get the result that you want. Therefore, stop thinking you don't have enough time to achieve the things that you want. In your 20s, you have plenty of time. So give yourself a good time frame so you can take all the steps that you need to take to achieve your goal. Now that we know we've got time, but also that unnecessary pressure has gone, we need to take the next step. Planning. I actually believed planning was for losers and a total waste of time, but it's that mindset that stopped me from achieving my goals in my 20s. That's why I want you to remember this one phrase: failing to plan is planning to fail. Let that just sink in for a second. Failing to plan is planning to fail. And I want you to write that down, put it on a piece of paper and stick it on your wall. Planning is so important if you want to succeed in life, and especially if you want to achieve your goals in the next 6 months. Because if you don't plan, you will end up wasting a lot of money, a lot of energy, and a lot of time. And time is one thing you can't get back. When I set up my first business, I had no plan. I just thought, I'll set up my business, I'll get some products on there and the customers will come. But that didn't happen. But also I didn't plan for when the money ran out, which it did after 12 months. I didn't plan how much stock I needed. I didn't plan if my website didn't work, how could I get customers? I didn't plan anything with that business. I just went for it and it cost me £15,000, a lot of mistakes, and all could have been avoided if I just planned a little bit better. Whether it's business, career, fitness, or even self-improvement, you need a plan because a plan will help you to stay on track. Furthermore, when you plan, you can plan for hiccups and setbacks. So when those occur in your life, you'll already be mentally prepared. So you won't end up giving up. You'll think, okay, I know that's going to happen. So when that happens, I'll take these steps. And if it doesn't happen, I'll continue with the process. That's why planning is so important. And if you need help with that, you can book a call with me. I've also created a separate video on how you can achieve your goals. Both links are in the description. But let me know in the comments, what are your plans for the next 12 months and how are you planning to get there? The next thing I want to talk about is consistency and why this mindset is so important in your 20s. Throughout my life, I've loved going to the gym and it's one thing I still love to this day. But in my 20s, I was blessed with fast metabolism. What that meant was I could go to the gym for about 12 weeks, train hard and get absolutely ripped. But the consequence of that was after 12 weeks, I think I look in shape. There's no need for me to go to the gym. I can spend my time chasing women, which is another problem. As the years went on, I just repeat the same cycle. Go for about 12 weeks, then take 3 months off. Go back in for another 3 months, then take 3 months off. But as time went on, it became harder and harder to achieve the same physique in the same time frame. As you get older, your metabolism slows down, so you can't get the same results. Furthermore, I found it harder to maintain my gains. I would lose my strength a lot quicker. So every time I went back to the gym, I'd have to start back at the beginning. If I had just stayed consistent in the gym, I could have developed a physique that I liked and done very little to maintain it. Because I always started and stopped, what would happen is I'd lose my strength, I'd lose my muscle size, and it'd take me back to the beginning. But this also kept me stuck at a certain level. I was never able to take my physique to the next level because I was inconsistent with the gym in my 20s. This principle of being consistent can be applied to everything in life, whether it's business, self-improvement, dating, improving your confidence. If you do a little bit every day, you will get slightly better. But if you stop and start, you will always have to reset, go back to the beginning and never get to that next level. But if you turn up every day, you will achieve so much more, but also it will help you get further in life. That's why I wish I had this mindset in my 20s, because being consistent may sound boring, but it'll help you to get the results that you want and it will help you to get to that next stage in your life. That's why you shouldn't look for quick fixes unless you're happy not progressing in your life and staying at the level you're at. If you want to build an incredible life, an insane physique, and an unbreakable mindset, then you have to turn up every day, especially on those days you don't want to, because it's those days that you will change the course of your life. Another mindset that stopped me in my 20s is believing that money makes money, and without money, you can't make money. This is a poor man's mindset and it makes me so angry that I believe this in my 20s. And it probably stops most men from taking action because they believe they need money to actually make money. So they end up staying stuck in their situation, staying frustrated because of this one belief. Let me tell you right now, it doesn't take money to make money. It takes action, desire, focus, and dedication. If you have that type of mindset, you can make money anywhere. Anything is possible as long as you have the right beliefs, because there are so many different ways you can make money online. When I set up my first business, I thought I needed money to be successful. But this just shows having money doesn't guarantee you will achieve success. That's why I regret taking that loan. Instead, I should have done my research. I should have planned better. I should have taken the right steps instead of thinking that money will make me more money. Therefore, stop believing you need money to make money and start believing you can acquire it and you can make it. Once you start thinking and believing like this, you will find so many opportunities out there to make money. If you're in your 20s, you're so blessed at the moment with the internet. When I was 20, I had to work in a factory and I had to put toilet rolls together just to earn money. And I remember one time holding the toilet rolls and the thing that holds them together wrapped around my fingers. I was in so much pain. But now we have the internet. You can make money on social media, on Instagram, on YouTube. You can set up a channel and within 2 to 3 years, you could be making huge amounts of money online. Don't think you need money to make money. All you need is desire, action, focus, a plan, and you can achieve so much. Therefore, you don't need money to change your life. All you need is 48 hours. That's why I recommend you watching this video.